Right, good morning everybody. I'm going to be drinking a cup of tea. As always, first part of the stream, it is going to finish just a little bit earlier as well. Started a bit earlier, but I was supposed to start at 9 and finish at just before 1. But I got to finish at 1 either way, really. Somebody's working today, so Mr. Uber driver me needs to pop out. Anyway. Enjoying the hood stew?
Yeah. It mixes well with the cognac.
Yeah, I could imagine. Are you indoors or outdoors, like at work?
No, I've got COVID. I've been off all week.
Oh, you've got COVID?
Yeah, no, you're all right, mate. Yeah, I'm alive.
What's it doing? Taste, mind, whatever?
The worst of it's over now. It was like severe headache for 4 days. Which finished on Thursday. Like, really, like, lots of snot. Not so much coughing, but if I did start, it felt like someone was hitting me across the chest with a bat.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And like liver, kidney pain, all joint pains, muscular pain.
Did you have any temperature issues? Oh, I'm streaming already, by the way, just in case you weren't aware.
Yeah, high temperature. It's been nice.
Yeah, I could imagine. How's your memory? Has it affected that at all?
Can't remember.
I just wondered.
No, it has like silly random things. Forgetting what you're doing halfway through making a meal and stuff.
It's alright, because I was still trying to work out whether what I had previously was COVID or flu. Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's a possibility. It might have been. I thought I had flu. It wasn't until like one of the neighbours who suggested like I was really rough and they would get me some shopping. They brought back a COVID test. Said, look, try that. So I did, and it just went straight away.
Yeah, I didn't have one till right towards the end, really, because at first it was more of a head cold and just aches, like, you know, temperature aches. And I got rid of some of the aches with something. I can't remember what. What was it I had? Plink Plink, Anodine Extra Soluble or something. And they got rid of that, but then it was not, you just don't feel right. You know what I mean?
Well, that's it. I mean, I got up Monday morning, but feeling rough all day Saturday, and Sunday night I was like, I thought I had a right bad tooth infection. And Monday morning, like, nose and all the teeth were hurting. It's like pain was going down the neck.
Yeah. But COVID's gone. You couldn't have had COVID, Stu.
Well, luckily, that's what I thought. And I was dosing myself up with paracetamol because the agency was on the phone for 5 minutes. Are you going in today? We really need you to be on site.
Yeah.
So I dosed myself up and I was about to go, and that's when the neighbour said to me, where are you going? I'm going to work. You ain't going to work like that. Stay indoors.
Yeah, it's good you didn't, because you would have given it everyone else.
Well, exactly. When I phoned the agency and told them, they went, oh, okay, yeah, we've got another site where that's just happened.
Yeah, and if they were as hassling, somebody did go in, then you've wrecked the site. Yeah. Anyway, I've got a few viewers now, mate. I'm sure they don't want to get the juicy bits of the COVID at the moment. Hey, pup. Anyway, hello everybody. So I was going to do a slightly different tack today. I'm on a tad earlier. I'll be finishing a bit earlier because I've got to play taxi drivers. So what I'm going to do is pick up some arty, bring it over to here, and then arty around here, which is where I know all these tanks are, this sort of area, which is what we've been attacking the past couple of weeks. Pardon?
I've got a plan. So last week the MI-24 came.
Yeah.
And we take some Roland and some those Leopard Jets.
Where do you want them?
Put them in the open area just north of the fortress on the coast. You take RC, I'll grab Roland and Leopard Shepherds.
Where did you want them? There you go.
That's parallel to the east of the place we're attacking by the sea-shaped lake.
Sorry, matey. I was getting conversations then at the same time.
No, get in and put markers on the map.
Alright, I'll pick up some Arte. Right, okay, so I'm in the Chinook at the moment. You're good, I am. And I'll try and start this up, see if it starts up first time. Right, so I need to look up a little bit more. Put the battery on. If anyone's got any questions, by the way, guys, if you've never been here before, just interrupt. It's absolutely fine. Anything about anything.
Yeah, good. Cheers.
Yeah, good. So, with the APU on this, the way we're going to start it is move it for 5 seconds to the middle, then a few seconds to start, and then let go, and hopefully we'll see APU. So we move it to here for around about 5 seconds or so, something like that. And then we move it to start for another few seconds, then let go. And let's see if we get a start. Sounds like something's starting, but that could be someone else. You can tell when it's ready, it'll say APU ready here. Okay, which it just did. Now the other thing is there's been a new update, so without actually looking at any of the updates at all, there's always a chance some of the things that I'll be trying to do have changed, so we'll just have to roll with it. Excuse me 1 second. I'll also be finishing about 1ish today. As I said, I'm Ubering today. Well, Ubering Lisa to work anyway, which I don't mind. She has every other week off, and then every other week she's at work, so it saves her going out early and standing around in this weather and spending 2 hours to get to work. She doesn't need to spend that long, but that's what she does. Okay, right, so I'm now going to put on the APU, and then we're going to look up here right at the top, and we're going to switch on the crossover, and then we're going to switch on the aft fuel, which I think is that one for me, yeah, and the forward fuel. We're going to roll this big lever down to the first stop that says ground, which was just there. You saw it moving. It's quite difficult from that angle when you see it moving. There's the other one, so it needs to go back one to that position there. It doesn't seem to always kick over. Do you know what I mean? It's like sort of it doesn't lock into position. But anyway, so that's there. We're then going to, let's move that back to about here. We're then going to press and hold engine start for number 1. Look down at the screen, and we're looking for that to get to 12, which it just has done, so that's NG1. And we should see the rotor starting. I think I might have to get the fan later. It's been really nice this morning. If you went to bed with your windows open in the UK this morning, there was a nice cool breeze blowing through, which was excellent. I will have to turn this down at some point. This is blasting me. Okay, and this should settle around about 55, 56, he says, but it's going way up. Why is it going way up? It could be because this is a little bit too far down. So let me have a look. Still seems a little bit high, unless, as I said, something's changed. We'll go back just a little bit more. There we go, that's better. I can see it from now, that's stopped moving. So that's in its lock position. That's probably better, otherwise I'll end up taking off too early. One I don't want. Right, we'll start the next engine, so that's aft forward fuel. Roll this down. And all I was looking for is when that pops over, can you see the way it's not... There we go, that's it. That's the locking point. It didn't seem to do it, or I couldn't see it on there, but I think that one's at that point now. So now we can start the right engine, which hold the right, or engine number 2, and let go again when NG2's at 12, which is down here. As the engines are starting, you're seeing a whole load of the advisories, cautions and things just disappearing. So I'll take a swig of tea. You've been away this week, yeah? Okay, so those are both settled now. So I'm just going to wind those both up. And the helicopter's kind of sweet up. Ah, right, that's fair enough. How's it going? Still knackering, still lots of time, maybe? Ah, right. Yeah, I know what that's like. I haven't been on call for a while now, which is good. Okay, so this is all up and running. So we're going to put the 2 generators on. Generator 1, generator 2. And then we're going to switch off the APU. And we're going to switch this off as well, the APU starter. Going to switch on the backup power. We're going to switch off the crossfeed. If we look down here, there's still a couple of things that we need to do. So if we look down on this little screen on the left now and zoom in, we're going to hit power, and then we're going to hit the EGI twice. And we're also going to hit EGI 2 twice. We're going to switch IWR on, which means we'll get a load of chit chat if we can hear it this week. No, we can't. So I think I've got one of these volume knobs that is a little bit quiet. Yeah. Oh, Harrier, Mirage. Oh yeah, no, I can imagine. The MiG-29's coming out soon, as is the... I don't want to do that one. Let me just change my volume here. It makes it a little bit difficult for me to hear. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Can't see why the voice is quiet. No, all that. Oh, GUI, could be GUI. Let me turn that up a little bit. Cockpit helmet. Well, there we go. See if we get warnings. Okay, so the other thing to do once we've done the EGI is we're going to look down here, and we've got the cyclic trim. It's on auto, which is where you want it, and we just turn this down to both. That will make flying this thing a lot nicer. The wheel brake is on, and it does say wheel brake off, or you should be putting it off. But I'm not going to be rolling around the floor to do a takeoff. Also, I'm not going to be landing on a rolling takeoff, so I'm going to leave the wheel brake on, pop up in the air and pop down. If the wheel brake is off, then the wheel's going to roll, and I think that's the steering wheel. I think could be the steering wheel, not sure, but there's one wheel on the back. I think it's this one on the back right, which is used for steering the whole thing, believe it or not. Right, what else do I need to do? If we look down here and we click this, yeah, got it right for a change. Overlay. There's the flight plan over there, and there's another button that I can switch on. I can see it. Is it this one? Yeah, and then we can see the map as well. Okay, I don't really use it. I can't read the numbers when I'm flying. So literally when I'm flying, I'm just flying and that's it. If that makes sense. I mean, I can't read those. I don't know whether you can. But sometimes I don't want to keep looking. I don't know whether this thing is going to get any sort of hood or anything like that. I don't know the chopper. Excuse me, I'm just pausing the tracking a bit and walk off. Anyway, how's everyone's weekend? Everything else? Yeah, MiG-29 is coming out. C-130 will be out at some point, Teddy Bear. I understand, and it is really annoying, and I do have some of those planes, the Harrier, the Mirage. I think they're still in the game. I'm not sure whether they'll be kept up to date or whether they'll just start working or what, to be exactly honest. I don't know, but we'll see. Right, I'm going to increase the collective. I wonder if there's a bar for this. Let me just check. Oh yeah, there is. So I'm going to increase the collective, which is this one there, and this thing just takes off and just moves. It is really floating. No, as I said, I'm not sure what they're doing with it. The whole backstory is like sort of quite interesting and not what you would think. And I'm not going to go into that. There's a couple of videos explaining it, and you can understand why it is what it is. But the problem is with that is it makes you think every time there's a module come out and it's not made by Eagle, is it still going to be available? Do you know what I mean? Because if you bought all the modules and associated maps, then and it's never going to be updated. If that's the case, I don't know 100%. As I said, I know some of the backstory, but I don't know the situation with the planes and things. I know they're not selling anymore. They've been withdrawn from sale, and whether someone's going to be keeping them sort of updated or not, you know, we'll find out. Now let's see if I'm close enough to go and get my RT that I'm after. I think I might be a little bit too far away. Artillery M109. Yeah, I thought so. So I'm going to move closer to that wall up there. As I said, this thing is, as long as you're really easy on the stick, I mean, it should get better and better over time. But it's quite nice compared to what it used to be when it first come out. It was just like a wallowy, did the opposite of everything because of the delay it had. But let's see how it develops. Closer than 100 meters. Jeez, how far have I got to get? Or is it the other side? Probably. Or am I the wrong side? No, it should be good. This must be the first aid bit. Let's jump over here. Should surely be close enough. So all being well, I should be back on Star Citizen tomorrow, but I was away last weekend. As soon as I finished streaming, I was off. Come back on Sunday. Managed to get a bit of a streaming. There is possibly something, but again, it's like when you're in the Huey and that, you know, I don't bother with any of the things. You just get used to it. Once you know where your hook is, you can estimate quite well. It's like driving a car. When you first get in a car, when you learn, your perception of how wide, how long, when you turn the wheel, what you'll hit and what you'll miss, you have no idea, and it's a little bit horrifying. Is that the right word? Scary. You know, if you see a gap in a car as a new driver, you just think you're not going to get in it no matter what. But once you get used to it, how often do you ever think about such things? Do you know what I mean? And for hooking like this, it's one of those things that once you start to get in the right position, it becomes second nature. Adding something that's gonna make it easier, you'll find people tend to rely on it. Does that make sense? You know, it's sort of like getting people off stabilisers off a bicycle. You know, they just don't want to, whereas if you throw them in at the deep end, they might learn a bit quicker, just if you see what I mean. Right, we've got one. We can load 3 of these things, especially if I press the right button. So I would just find some markers in the Huey. You would turn round, you can see where the centre is. You know, it's just behind the bulkhead. The centre here has got markers. This has got, you know where the centre is, and it's just a case of once you've seen your thing there, you just gently edge forward. I would guess there's the co-pilot will tell you as well. I'm not 100% yet, but I think it's just one of those, you know, practice things. In the Huey, you know, you can go and sling now without any guidelines, and you should be able to get everything up within just a couple of seconds or so. Get it all attached. So by the time I finished loading these, with a bit of luck, we should be able to find the markers. And then go and drop them off. Now, even though I've done the Eggy, I've noticed. We have or not? Okay. Can you see? Eggy mode available. Oh, it's just telling me it's available. Okay, where did you want the RT?
Look up the coast.
Yeah, I'm seeing.
You see LZ Bravo, LZ Alpha.
Are they circles marked or are they proper LZs?
The ones I've put down.
Oh right, sorry, I need to click on them to
On the top row, you can see you've got the 2 options to bring them up with all the
LZ. Yeah, I've got them now. I thought they were these. All right, okay. Right, I got you now. So you want them at Alpha or Bravo?
Put them down at Alpha first, and then you can cover Bravo.
Okay.
Because you're bringing RT, aren't you?
I'm bringing RT, yeah. And there's no buildings just to the left of that, or does it go higher than that when they are set up?
You've got cover and the hills that are behind the enemy. See the enemy tank unit?
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, there's hills running down here, isn't there, by the looks of it?
they're covered by hills. So I got all the way up to within quarter of a mile of them with tanks without getting hit, and I was resupplying the tanks with helicopters.
Yeah, no worries. Right, so
The only thing I had to worry about was the MI-24 coming. So that's when I thought, well, I forgot to bring the road.
no worries. Yeah. Do you know, I never used to watch it, but I know who you mean. It's looking very nice today. Right, let me have a look. Now, is that a big bay where I am? No, it's just keep going and heading for the water. And then go up the coast. It's not that far actually, it's somewhere up there I think. I'll have to keep checking back with the map. I don't want to be flying like extremely high. There is also a trimmer on this once you reach a certain speed. Let's just relax the stick a little bit. So I'll try to make an adjustment as I go along here, but it's not working like I expected. These are really nice aircraft in real life. This is some way off at the moment, but it's getting there. To drop down somewhat. See, I can't read any of the numbers, that's my only problem. So these, if I lean in, I can see something, but I'm not sure what it's telling me. As we were talking about last week, someone was having a problem that you get quite a lot, and these things are heavy, and when you come down you have to be so careful, otherwise you're going to VRS it and then splat in the floor. And it's fairly robust, but you know, it's not sort of invulnerable to stuff. So bear in mind I got 3 tanks on. If we look round you should see them in the back. Oh yeah, there they aren't. But the weight of those vehicles is added to the helicopter. So the way this is flying is normally plus the weight of those 3 vehicles, and they're not light. And it feels like I might be losing this. Not sure why, unless my stick is sticking. Where's my mark? Right. Focus on my flying instead of my talking. So I can see the buildings over there, blocks of flats, and if we look on the map you can see there's something. So I suspect it's just after there. I'm going to just drop down a little bit more. I'm way too high again now. Still nice view. What I haven't done for a long time is seen my co-pilot DJ come out. If you own a Chinook, if you cock up badly, you'll get a sort of a juddery type flight with this, and that guy over there gets his decks out. So while you're flying along, he's got a set of DJ decks on his lap, and he's doing all sorts. It's quite amusing, but you'll know what I'm on about. I haven't done it for a long time, but if I do, I'll show you. Sits there doing scratching and stuff. Oh yeah, there's that coaster bit sticking out. So it's just after here, like I thought. If anyone's got any questions, jump in. It's really quiet. I know some of you will be bots, but some of you aren't, so please feel free to say hello. And if you're thinking of getting DCS or wondering how difficult it is, etc., etc., just feel free, just ask anything whenever. There's no sort of set program. This is me streaming on a Saturday. I haven't got any specific agenda, and I'll just explain to you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it and how to start the things up. These things are faster than the Apache, would you believe? But I'm driving it like a Sunday, or flying it like a Sunday driver at the moment. So you can see this little bay. I'm going to cough in a minute. I'll let go of that stick. So I'm not holding any sticks at all at the moment. In fact, I've just taken my feet off the pedals. Look, I need to drop the collective a little bit. But yeah, so this is the trimming that is happening. See the way it's very straight, a little bit high. Once you get to a certain speed, it kicks in, and you can get it to help you. And then even when you turn, say if you watch one on roll, look down there, I'm not using any rudder. Can you see the little slip indicator stays in the middle, so it does it automatically. I'm just going to be careful I don't lose it. So it does really help. And that was where, oh shit, that was where you've got the trim control down here on, and you switch that dial to both. If you don't switch the dial to both, you'll end up sort of having a bit of a wallowy experience. So here's that little, looks like a shale beach. So you can see where these markers are. So you see these buildings, so it looks like I should be going in there. Here's the first one, so I'm going to start slowing down, killing my speed as much as I can without dropping too fast. Pups rifling already, so he's likely to be shooting the tanks. Close enough, yeah. Water looks really nice, doesn't it? I think once this is landing, I've unloaded, I'll go and get my fan. It was really nice and cool outside this morning, surprisingly, but with a computer on as well, even though the windows are open, and I know there's this sort of breeze everywhere. I think I'll go and get my fan down. Otherwise my ankles will swell up and my legs will swell up. Right. So I'm just going to land here. I'm going to get close to these buildings because it's going to spit out a container behind me. So what I don't want is the... Oh right, okay. Just 1 minute. Let me read your first bit. Okay, so that was reasonably landed. Hey Timmy, you're right. Yeah, good. I mean, you can tell by the way I'm flying, it's fairly chilled, fairly relaxed. And I just explain stuff and that's it. Sometimes I'll get shot down, but you know. Hey ho. I'm not going to get stressed over it. I do it because I enjoy doing it. When I was flying, I was in Star Citizen when I come back last week. And I could just feel myself just getting quieter and quieter. And I just thought, blimey, this is going so slow now that it sounds like I'm going to be asleep. And I bet the people watching were going to be asleep as well. There we go. So now we've got 3 of these things. So I'm going to just move over sideways a little bit, and then again, and then we can unpack. Do you want all the arties in one group, the 2 different bases, or just the sets of 3? Yeah. And do you want them sort of by these or literally on the other mark? Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure of the spread on the unpacking bit. Right, we'll go to other. Go to logistics, unload cargo. I can put all 6 in a line along this beach, and then you can jiggle them around after once you got them in a group. That'll make it easier, probably. Yeah. Yeah, flying helicopters, by the way, Timmy, is really relaxing, or can be. I mean, just flying a Huey up a coast or somewhere for half an hour, 45 minutes, you know, you're just going to drop some troops off. It is really quite chilled and relaxing. Yeah, what would that be, Mr. Camel? And how are you? Hope you're well. Have you ever tried any of the helicopters at all, Timmy? Right, so now I'm going to take off and fly back down and get back down to here, load another 3 and take them up.
Helicopters look way too complicated.
Oh, I know, yeah. They're not really. They're not sophisticated or anything. You just switch a button on and it flies itself. That's it. Oh, and by the way, before anybody is sitting there listening to that, we are winding each other up. So please don't think that what we're saying is that good. They're high for 30 minutes, fair enough. Have you got the Huey? The Huey, you know, people look at it and they just think, yeah, that's not worth it. Right, the Huey is the best one to get as a first helicopter The reason being, right, you've got the Shark. Oh, excellent. I was trying to find a video, but couldn't find anything. You'll have to whisper me a link, because it won't let you put it on here unless Kev's on, and then you can send it to Kev. The Huey is you flying it. The Shark is systems, and you're just making adjustments, if you think of it that way. The same with the Apache. The Apache is very similar in some respects, right? There's an element of what's in the Shark that applies to the Apache, and to get the best out of flying helicopters. Yeah, that'll be good. This is the Chinook. Yeah, this is the Chinook. So I'm just taking some artillery up the coast, basically, and then we'll join that artillery together. So as I was saying, Timmy, if you get the helicopter, and it is literally in the sale like $25, because it's you flying it, you'll get to grips with helicopters and have a far better understanding of helicopters. It basically will spank your ass for a bit until you learn to get that level of control. The Shark and the Apache, both with their automated systems, will be aiding and assisting all the way. But once you get the feel of how the Huey works and where VRS is, what you can and can't do with it, it will really, really help. And if anyone wanted to go to the Apache, I always recommend start with the Huey, then go to the Shark and learn how to use the trimmer before you get to the Apache. So there is a progression there, I think. Fundamentals are similar, apart from the Shark is counter-rotating blades, but all the principles are much the same, really. And once you can master the Huey, it really does help you a lot. So if you haven't got it, you know, I would try it, and then you can do some of these things. They're good in fights as well. A Huey will know easily take out. Seriously, yeah, try it. And a little bit later, I'll jump into a Huey and I'll just go through the startup. What's good about it is it's so easy, right, to get going in the Huey. So when you crash it, which most people will do quite quickly, you'll find that it's easy to get back into. So it's one of the few things you can jump into DCS for half an hour and actually do something. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you're spending loads of time trying to start it up, and it's just getting that feel. You can't trim the rudder, which you will do in both the others. And also, I don't know whether you're using this already, I would recommend using centre stick trimmer position. Should be the default, but I see some really weird shit going online where people are saying, oh, do this, or don't you, and you just think, what a load of bollocks. You know, the reason why the trimmer's there is because the Huey would basically wear your arm out after a while in real life. Obviously in this it doesn't, but understanding how it works and using it to its advantage is something quite good. I mean, there'll be a lot of people who fly and never use the trimmer on the Huey at all, but understanding how it works will help, because you'll be trimming in the Shark, you'll be trimming in the Apache a lot, and the trimmers on there are different. Right, I think this is the mast of where we are, isn't it? Yeah. I'm starting to slow down already. This is a little bit lighter, but not that light that I'm not necessarily going to gob it. Got to find out where my rearming reloading field is. I think it's down there. This first look, I might lose it if I'm not careful.
I started at DCS World with a trial of AI.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And the World War II planes are something else. Hey, morning, Barbie. How are you today? It's going to be a short, well, I say short. I'll probably be finishing just before 1 o'clock because I've got to take the other half to work, which I don't mind. Just saves again and having to stand in the sun and everything else as well. Now, assuming that I actually land properly and don't sort of gob it at the last second, I'll say, hang on, wait and see, shall we? The only reason I can handle some of the things the way I do is because of the hours put in and what you learn from the QE. Yeah, there is some automation on this, but stick movement, as you see, is minimal, which is something that people don't realise when they first start, especially if you just come from planes. So I'm after these paladines, and I'll go and drop these off, and once I've dropped them off, I'll bring this back and I'll just jump in a QE and I'll go through the startup for you, Timo, and explain a couple of things, and then when you trial it, it'll just give you a head start. If I was doing one-to-one with you, you would be slinging on that first time you ever flew it. If you listen and follow what I say. I can't show you everything because unfortunately it's not conducive to doing that on this map because it's undulating and that, so I can't show you some of the things very well. But if you give it a try, you need any help with anything, just feel free to come back. If anybody wants to jump in, guys, you're more than welcome. All I'm doing at the moment is moving. You can see the weight added onto this, and I can feel that weight. That's why I'm being a little cautious. Oh, right, it's one of those, right. Okay, no worries. As I said, it won't take me long. As with every other module, it's all about knowing where the things are before you start. And I would always say, let someone show you or listen to the startup before you start trying to write it down. Excuse me. I find that using someone's written down startup procedure, whilst is okay, if you write your own, once you start to get familiar, I can't remember how many I've put in now, then when you get to write your own, usually that's after you've started it quite a few times, and it will help you remember. Whereas if you're reading one that someone else has written, you're not using your ears and you're not sort of doing the repetition that you would do, etc. Right, okay. So we've added on £11,972. So now we're going to take these up and hopefully drop these by the others. So this thing now is really heavy again. Just angle it all right. Go over there, watching the tree, of course. So now we've been up there, we know what we're looking for. Makes life a little bit easier. Is the volume all right, by the way? Audio and game sound. Sometimes I have the game sound down a little bit too much. think everything else is running fine. Looking. How is Mr. Camel, by the way? If you're still there, but you buggered off now, haven't you? Come for your wind up and then disappear. Or you minimise me to this tiny little window up the corner. Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I suppose it's that time of year, is it? Oh no, it's winter, isn't it? You're coming out to winter. Have you got your scope back yet? Oh, right. Oh, that's good. At least there's work. Are you sort of self-employed and then somebody else gets you the business, or do you work for a company? Or is that like an 8 month? So I'm not getting all the audio at the moment, but that's possibly because I haven't bothered putting the radios on. And I'm not getting some of the feedback, but I suspect I've got some volume turned down somewhere. Ah. And is the work all sort of just on the North Island, or do you go both? Or is all the farming and that stuff mostly on North? Obviously I don't know. I know they've both got lots of land and everything. It's funny because if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the, oh, what's the word? Is it more temperate up north? Is that the right word? Ah, right. But is it colder down on the South Island? And a bit more temperate, sort of. Is that right? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've been. Right, so what I'm intending to do is come along here. I know the first time I went there it was ridiculous. That was when the ozone layer was not great. Right, so on the coast we've got 3 containers, and I'm going to add these 3 containers by them. That's the idea. The one thing about flying helicopters really is you're never 100% that you're going to actually land properly until you've landed properly. The slightest thing and you'll find yourself in a bit of either a burning mass or lots of different pieces. No worries. No worries, no worries. Give it a whirl, and I'm streaming, or should be streaming unless I have to go out, Star Citizen tomorrow. So if you've had a chance to give it a go, you got any questions, pop onto that stream and come and ask me. I have no problem with people asking about anything that I stream on any of the channels. And as you say, as I've slowed down there, I've seemed to have increased my height, which I don't really want to do. I'm really heavy, I'd rather just come lower down, so I'm going to use this space over here and just get a little bit lower to the floor. Yeah, I've got 3 Paladins on the back. I've got about 11,000. Yeah, you're welcome, matey, no worries at all. Let's try and get a little bit lower here. Yeah, I've got £11,000 of weight on at the moment, which is why I was being as cautious when I first came up, because the VRS in these is quite interesting. Well, as is VRS in anything, but when you're coming in relatively low to land, it doesn't take much and you just gobbed it. Still feels weird that when you're doing a turn it sort of pulls you up too much. I'm not sure whether that's right. I think it sort of is a little bit overdone, to be honest. I don't think it should be doing that, but as you no doubt know, I have no idea about helicopters at all. So I'm going to put these three here quite close to these, so that when they're unpacked they form one group. If you've got a separation between them all that's too big, right, then you'll only get those. It would be interesting to try, wouldn't it? It's not the cheapest thing to do, is it? Is to learn how to fly helicopters. I think Lise looked into getting me a ride in a Huey the Woods, and then when she found out how much it was, she says I abandoned that idea, which don't blame her at all, really. You still upstairs, cock? Hang on, let's try my AI. Hey, Lisa, tea please. Did you hear that? I tried. I'll still get one. You watch. So she's going for a vape. Right, as soon as I've dropped these off. I forgot to move. It's going to put it on top of that one. Brilliant. Yes, well, it's good at stacking. It's like playing reverse Jenga. Come on, slide over sideways a little bit. Not too much. Stop rushing as well. So those two might spawn on top of each other. Unload cargo. Hopefully it is in. Yeah. Right, so I'm just going to move forward, not too far, because I still need to be within the sphere of influence. Yeah, this is a deadie, but it's on somebody else's system, and it only comes on Saturdays. So he's just helping me out. I can run it on my system as well, but obviously it disappears a little bit quicker when I finish. I've got enough space. I've got a little machine over there, but I acquired these tiny little box things, but I could do with getting a decent one and then just putting one on permanently, really, or maybe a couple. But I'm too busy buying other things at the moment. But that will be quite good. I had my internet updated the other week and it runs incredibly well. even better. You won't notice, but for moving stuff around, it's really good. So putting stuff on that's permanent, it's absolutely no problem. Right, so what we've got to do now is get all of those things to unpack. So we go to Other, Logistics, Unpack. And there we go. Unfortunately, yeah, I lost one, Stu. I forgot to move, and so we've only got 5 in the group now. Yeah. Yeah, it's Lisa and Mr. Camel. Right, this is a little bit lighter now. I'm going to fly it back. And then, let's unpause that. Does help when you're trying to see. We'll fly it back, and then I'll go and get my fan. Oh, this is the castle thing he meant. When he said there was like a castle bit, I've not been all the way around the island yet at all. The first time I came on it was only a couple of weeks ago, so I've not had a tour, but it's a really nice map. So it's Syria and this is Cyprus. I don't know which bit is which. But it's running really smooth at the moment, to be fair, as always. If you're wondering, it's 3090 Ti. I went down to see the Babby last week, and he's there with his the proud owner of his new computer with a 5090. And he says he just can't believe how smooth everything is. But at the moment I'm not looking to change at all, really. This is great. With the 3090 going to the 4090, if you could get one, is a doubling of speed, but going from 4090 to 5090 doesn't double, it goes up about 30%. But it's like how fast you need it, do you know what I mean? It is a twitch shooter sort of thing, but even then, I'm currently running at 60 FPS as well, so instead of sort of trying to generate a lot more frames, it's pointless, because when I stream in 60 FPS. You can't do any more, so why would I want to generate more when I can't even utilise it? It doesn't make sense. The other thing is I lose sync with my head tracking, which is an AIM XYZ, which works incredibly well, really. And I don't have anything on my head, and it sounds like my AI bot has just made me a cup of tea, which is really good. Geez, I tell you what, I do believe some of these things, listening to your conversations. I did have track IR. I had a custom one on my glasses, but this is called AIM XYZ, tiny little camera. Thank you, AI bot Lisa. Yeah, I have got it on. What was the comment? Somebody said spicy mode. Thanks, darling. Needs a lot more sort of, complimentary things than the usual Alexa or the Google bot. Never had to give Alexa a lift to work. Would you believe that? And Siri actually says thank you. Hey, THC. How are you? So I'm just coming back to land, and then I'll still jump in the Huey just to go through the basic startups for that guy. You can always go back and look at the VOD. We're just talking helicopters earlier on THC. So I've just delivered 5 arties up to a location. In fact, what else did you need? I've put 5 arties out. Did you want something else up there? What was that? Sorry, Jeopards. All right. Okay. I won't do the. Do I come too far down here? I won't do the. I think I might have done. No, I haven't got some of the maps. I'm confused, to be honest, because there's this Afghanistan, that Afghanistan, another Afghanistan, a slightly different Afghanistan, another bit of Afghanistan, and I'm like, so do you know what I mean? And I haven't bought. Look, see the way that jumps up just on a turn. It's a bit bizarre. I haven't bought some of the maps yet. Glad I didn't get the Falkland Islands. I think when I bought it, it was about 130 quid. I actually bought it for lease because then she doesn't have to wear headphones or anything like that, or have anything attached. And I tested it and it works brilliant. Well, it does everything that it does. Resolution is not bad, as you can see. I mean, you guys are watching it. Would you know whether I'm using Track IR or not? And we've got all the zooming in. Look, we've got up and down, we've got roll, we got left and right. And I was a bit sceptical at first. When I bought it, you could only get it from eBay, which I don't buy off eBay. But I thought, for the money, I thought maybe it's worth a punt. If you look, there's a few reviews of it in terms of it shows you what it looks like, and it's just a little camera, and you focus it, sits on the thing, and the actual control panel and what's going on is very similar to Track IR. And I've been using it since my Track IR stopped working. Shit, I've lost this. No, I've gathered it, got it back. Phew, that was close. I think the guys in the tanks there just shut the pants. It's, to be honest, I think you won't be disappointed once you've got it set up and configured. The open source stuff tends to be a little bit too jittery, I find, a lot of it. And I've experimented with a few things. But you can see, look, I'm holding my head steady. Right, my head's not moving, is it? Do you know what I mean? So if I'm looking at something, I can look at it. I haven't paused it or anything, it's still there. One thing I will point out, and it sort of screwed me a little bit, is that it scans for lots of keys as well. And the problem is with that, I'll show you what I mean in a minute. Took me a bit of getting used to. So the way I normally used to look around the cockpit with Track IR was I would pause my Track IR, okay? And then I'd just literally pause it, okay, like this. And then I've got a G13 gaming pad on my left. So I'd use the numpad keys to look around. So if I want to look at something, I'd quickly use the keys. But look, can you hear that? Nothing. And I think it's because the software for these scans for a lot more keys than Track AI does. So there's a lot more functions that you can set, and it's overriding, I think, what DCS is kicking out. So the way round it is now I don't pause like that. I look where I want to go, right? There, now pause. And now I've still got the ability to use asterisk and divide, right? And right control, right shift 4 and 6, which is how I'll move from side to side and look in. Which is good enough, but it's taken me ages. Hey, hello noob. Yeah, well you won't be able to. You won't be able to, because I used to just pause and I got all these keys available to me. How are you, noob? How's the family? Right, so you have to get used to positioning, then zooming. Right, now I've got a little joystick under my thumb, which is why this is just so smooth. And I've got that little joystick set to divide, asterisk, and then control shift number 4, control shift number 6. Excellent. Yeah, we're both good, thank you. Both really good. Lisa's working in a care home now, and I'm working miles away. But I do 3 days at work and then 2 at home, but it is still working all day. So what was it you wanted? Support Jeopards. Where the hell are Jeopards? The Jeopards tanky things. Yeah. Are there missions? Yes, there is. There's Caesar stuff going on. Stu, did you say the Jeopard or the Leopard? What's it under? Oh, sorry. Thanks, mate. I am so shit at this stuff. Yeah, there it is. I can fly the things, but my knowledge of aircraft, weapons, vehicles, ammo, munitions, you know, I don't mind admitting that it's complete shit, to be honest. But I do have... Oh, Stu's really good, he knows this stuff. Right, where was I going? Sam, another Jeopard. These are a bit easier. Yeah. No, I can understand that, noob. I can understand that. But you have to do what's best, don't you, really? What's more convenient. I mean, our kids, or Lisa's kids, have disappeared. Yeah, exactly, and that's the point, isn't it? It's the flying, you know. What tank does what, and I can't tell you one front tank from another. I just look and I know there's a tanky thing, and I try and look and see if there's a doodad on the top of its head, and if there is, I know I'm going to get missiled if I'm not careful, and that's my technical knowledge. So if you notice, I very rarely cover much on stuff. Not that I couldn't learn it, it's just not of interest. Right, one more. And then... It's one of those things, mate. I mean, I've gone through spells where, I just didn't have time. I worked for one place, it was in Banbury, which was about 60 miles away. I was on call, and even when I wasn't on call, I still got called. And even if someone lived 20 minutes away from the job, it was still me to go down. And I'd say, look, if they're not competent enough, get rid of them and get somebody else. But they just kept using me for everything, which is okay. But, you know, when it's the baby's 18th birthday, you sit down at a restaurant and then you get a call, and then someone who lives close is struggling with it, and you just think, Jesus. Anyway, so now I don't do on-call. In fact, for the job that I do, other than managing the people, I'm sort of running at less than 1% of my capability, which does mean it's a little bit unchallenging, and I do have to have a 4-hour drive, you know, that's there and back to be able to do that. But you know, nobody tells me what to do. I go in and I just do what needs doing, and that's it. But sometimes I might be finished by 9:15. I got to stay there till 4:30 at the earliest, and it's that, you know, I find that annoying. But I could move, but I know there's something that might be brewing in a few months that is back where I used to be, which is 19 minutes away. And this is the trouble with the area I'm in. I switched after COVID. I had COVID off, and I switched into something that was a lot less hassle. And where I was home by 5 o'clock. I got a lot more time. It was bliss. And then suddenly now I'm working 80 miles away all the time. And with Lisa working till 8:10. You know, I get home. If I get time, I'll have a shower, sit down, have a drink, go and pick Lisa up. Then we're eating after 9 o'clock, which is too late really for me. So yeah, things just change. You just go with it. Yeah, there's a balance. Now I just want to move into just staying management, because I don't want to be off all over the place. The trouble is when you work in IT, especially with the knowledge I've got, when is the work done in a lot of places at weekends and holidays. And when things go wrong, people want you. Great, you know, they'll pay you a lot of money, they'll give you a car, they'll pay for your petrol, you know, they'll give you free petrol, everything. But you got no life, and it's not all about the money. And now I've got the setup I've got now, which is just getting better and better. I've got some more toys coming in a couple of weeks. Sort of computer, but my other stuff, which is all music related. So, you know, I've got all the video editing stuff. There's more I need, but I've got all this music stuff. And what I'm gearing up for is when I eventually decide to jump out of work. I don't want to be in a position where I want this, I want that, and can't buy it. I buy it all while I can. It's the same machine as before. I'm just nearly 4 years old. So it's an possibly an i something. It's got 128 gig of DDR5 in it with 3090. Yeah, exactly. You know, which whilst it pays the bills, but apparently I've been told I can have my state pension in Feb 26. It's not that far away, and Lisa's still working, but the state pension is enough to cover the main bit of the bills. Lisa adds a bit to it, and then that's it really. So then I'll just concentrate on doing some of the other things. What I don't want to do is don't want to turn this into anything more than it is. Happier to stream. And I mean, you've never ever heard me ever say hit a follow button or subscribe to. You never hear it.
I'm still on THD 5,962 GB. I should turn it on, see if it works.
Yeah. I mean, I always work on, is it doing the job? Is it still working? If it is, that's fine. I bought one computer and it was 5 years before I even replaced it. Yeah, what legal reasons is it? Do they sort of retire you off? I've got to get back down again without getting down too fast. Move, and then I'll go and drop these. Oh, right, yeah. No, I see what you mean. It's like driving, right? You know, I used to drive about 33 to 37,000 miles a year, right? Never had an accident or anything since, for years and years and years and years and years. And it does make me think sometimes, you know, I'm going along, and of course you're going to start by doing what I'm doing. The risk level increases. So I bought my own car for the first time ever when I worked at the place locally. And it was never designed for doing the mileage that I'm doing. It was designed just for me, right? It wasn't like a car like I've had before. I've always had big wallowy automatics that were comfortable, that were nice big cars. Never had to pay for anything. This is from when I was 22. And so I bought myself something completely different. And now I'm piling miles on it. But I must admit, I am getting between 54 to 60 miles a gallon out of it, to be fair. But I have to pay for the petrol, and it's my car. Do you know what I mean? I didn't mind that when I worked up the road, and that was one of the things I had to think about. So the first car I buy, instead of me doing that 8,000 mile, if that, a year, I'm up to 35,000 mile, and I've done just over a year there. And that mileage, right, I'd only got 10,000 on the clock when I started working there, and I haven't done a full year of this travelling malarkey. Do you know what I mean? And I said to Lise, this car's just going to die at some point, and if it dies, I can't work there, that's it. I'm not buying a car again to use it for that. And they don't make the car anymore either. When I bought this, they stopped making them. The whole range stopped. And surprisingly, I actually learnt to drive, right, in one of these cars. And I didn't buy it for that reason. I bought it because of what it is. And it was so different to my big automatic, you know, cars. And it's just a little car. So these are the Jeopards coming out. So the idea is here you can use the RT you can use the RT to pummel, right? You see these tanks and things like that. And then you've got the Jeopards that will give you some cover from the air. And if you've just come on, it makes you think, I know what I'm talking about. I don't. I had to ask somebody. So. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to ask. move forward a little bit. Oops, that's not what I wanted. It's this one. Unpack. There we go. Right, you got three Jeopards then, and 5 artists, Stu. And I've got a cup of tea made by AI bot Lisa, so this is gonna be up. So while I sit down and drink my tea before it goes cold, because as everybody knows, DCS is a 9 out of 10 cold cups of tea or coffee game, which is the official rating. So this is up in a shark. Yeah, no worries, mate. No, that's fine, matey. That's fine. I understand. Anyway, all the best, matey, to everybody. You coming in then, Mr. Camel? Yeah, come in, matey. Just do a search for either MELL or BVAR, and the password I think is BVAR12345. And that's fine, mate. You do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? There's far more important things than playing games. If you want to come on to TS as well, Mr. Camel, you're more than welcome. Just type !TS3, but if you don't, that's fine too. You're probably one of those. Oh, there we go. I was waiting for that. TeamSpeak audio is much better, and it's so easy to do something. It doesn't try to be absolutely everything to all men, and isn't run and owned by some interesting company, if that makes sense. We have a Discord, but I don't use it for voice. TeamSpeak is what I've always used. You've got to remember my age, and I've been gaming for a long time. In fact, I think I'll be doing a giveaway on my birthday, or the closest Saturday to it, and it's only going to be for the people who are on stream. Stop. It's not that bad anymore. The problem is with TeamSpeak is there was some major change in it. So you might find that your joystick button doesn't work on it straight away, and you have to get some little tool that I forget what it is. But you'll see. You can always get it working at some other point. So yeah, I usually don't mention it till the day, because I don't advertise giveaways or anything. Not one of those people who need to give things away just to get viewers. And whilst I appreciate every viewer who's on here, if there was one person and that was me watching my own stream, I'd still be doing exactly the same. You know, when I first started, I was just talking, there was nobody there at all. Then I used to have quite a few people, then I damaged my leg and I was off for 4 months. Jobs get in the way. I don't stream as much as I used to, but I stream regularly on a Saturday no matter what, as best as I can. But yeah, I'll give. Any idea what sort of thing I should give away? And the interesting thing is, unlike any other giveaway, right? The winning person can nominate a friend who will receive the module. Okay? Yeah. So what I mean by that is, I think I'm up. Oh, that's alright, it's just me over cooking, or is it fuel? Let's have a look. Can't see. Can't read it. So basically, the way it would work is if you're on the stream and you win, and it's not going to be at the end of the stream either, I don't do that. If you're on the stream and you win, and you got a friend that you've been trying to get into DCS, all you got to do is give me their email that they've registered with DCS, and I'll send the freebie to them. If you've already got the module, right, then you can still win it, but you can nominate someone else if you want. Do you know what I mean? It's really free and easy. It's not going to be the last minute, and it's always the same. It's a competition, and I don't normally tell people what it is, but they all know, the regulars. You've got to guess what the biscuit is that I'm eating at the time. And I know some of the people who are not from these lands are going to go, oh, how do I know that? Well, you've got something called the internet. You just look up. You can even find a shop I might go shopping at and see what they stock. Do you know what I mean? So it's the first one who will guess the biscuit that I am eating. I'm on holiday actually. Yeah, but I find it funny. It just makes me laugh. You have all these people shouting out or guessing all these biscuit types. It's quite difficult to spot the first one, but that's how I do giveaways, and it's only for the people on here. There's 20 people on at the moment. So if there was only 5 people on, you got a 20% chance of winning a free module, or, as I said, a free module for someone else. The only caveat is when I do it, you've got to be there. So the competition starts and then it finishes usually within an hour. So if someone shouts it out within that time, if not, then it doesn't go. Yeah, it could be a Tesco special. I'll give you a clue. There's 3 types of shop I shop at. Mozzies is one, which is Morrison's. Okay. Waitrose is another one, and the Co-op is another one. Not all of them do all biscuits. So now you've got, when's my birthday? My birthday is on the 2nd of September. Okay. So anyone want to sort of suggest a module to give away? I don't mind. It could be the AC 130. I could buy that as a gift, I suppose. But I haven't done it for ages, so, you know, oh, there's 23 now. But you get the gist. It won't be advertised, it won't be mentioned. It's only for the people who are on stream. It's not a way of getting people to come and watch. You know. So, well, what sort of, hello, you know, if people give me suggestions on the sort of thing, let me look at all the prices, and it might be that you get a free pick. So if I do it that way, that might be even better. But, you know, as I said, if you've got a mate who wants something, I know some people will have all the modules and so on. If you've got a mate who wants something. TeamSpeak. TeamSpeak is free. You sarcastic arse. You know, you're making me really want to come over. In Apache Chinook. Yeah, I don't mind any of the helicopters. There's nothing that's going to really break the bank, is there? So, yeah. You type on this little bit more up-to-date software, !TS3, and you'll see the address, but don't forget the port number. So I'm coming into land, and then I'm going to quickly jump into the Huey just to go through it for somebody who was on earlier. Pardon me. It'd be nice to see you stream a little bit of DCS just so I can have a look at your quality of the 2K. I mean, the Star Trek stuff, is it Star Trek that you've streamed, is all well and good, but it's not one of these things that would necessarily need that level of quality, if you see what I mean. I'm going to park within the base, otherwise I'm going to end up just dumping this and losing it. What happened there? Was it a squirrel? No. Ah, right, okay. So if it's shot down, you shout that. If it's a squirrel, you chuckle. Where's that air cover? Do you want some air cover? Alright. Have you got an F10 on your keyboard? Because I know it's funny. So if you press that, you could probably call some, yeah? Anyway, how are you, pup? You all good? Yeah, I'm sort of just feeling after the heat all the time. It's just like right, recovering. Do they work? Right, I'll just park over here. I might be at the wrong tower again, but do I care? Nah. Right, I'll jump quickly, and it is going to be a quick blast in the Huey. Oh, helicopters. Always park them with the nose up the hill, otherwise they might roll over. Where did I go? Oh, I'm over here somewhere. It's because I was looking at somebody earlier. Yeah, I forgot about that. I'm nearly parked on the side, and there's a tendency it'll just tip you over. So let me just get back in and switch this thing off. Now when you turn these things down, don't assume that you're going to stop. It might do, it might not do. Depends on how far they've come. Come on. You might find that your blades just keep going and going and going. So what I'm going to do now, right, is... Oh, still enough power there. Wow. That surprised me. I didn't think I would move. Because what used to happen before is we'd literally switch off and it just sits there and it keeps going and going and going and going. So I thought because it had slowed down enough, so now I'm putting pitch on the blades. As you can see, I'm not sure whether you can see it, I can see it. See the way the blades are angled up now. So that'll slow them down. Let me know if you get on, and I'll try and drag you up to where we are. You also need to set push to talk if you can. Otherwise you're coughing and farting. There you are. I'm going to drag you up anyway, but... Mr. Camel's in with us, by the way. I just thought I'd mention it. He's probably looking at TeamSpeak because his comments when I said TeamSpeak. Yeah, like everyone does, you know what I mean? Antiquated piece, etc.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Now, one of the things I'm going to do just before I go is go and get a fan. This is possibly Stu. Is that you, Stu, who's done exactly what I did? Or is that a new sort of reinforced radar system? Oh, hang on, I can't hear you at the moment. Got too close to your chopper. What was that? Oh, no, it's quite good. I like the way the guys inside with the shooty bits are well protected. I did exactly the same, but I did it where I just stacked them on top of each other. If you can't remember how to do it, Mr. Camel, tools, options, and you can do it, test it, set whatever keys. As I said, you might find you'll have trouble with using a joystick key initially. So, oh, is that you now? Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. Does anyone remember what the little plug-in is for it? If that's too much hassle for you at the moment, you can hear us, and you know, when you're down on the floor you'll be fine, so I wouldn't worry too much. But at least you're in, that's a start. Spend another week sorting it out. Anyway, I've got to go and get my fan. I'll be back in a minute, guys. Who else is up? Oh, I'll leave him to do that. And I'll be back in 2 ticks. But be back in 2 ticks. Right, sorry about that. Put the kettle on again. Like my fan's all working, but I do need more tea. How you doing? You managed to get a hold of the plug-in? See, I haven't got it. I've got a version before, I think. Can't remember the version. And I don't update to the version that changed things, if you see what I mean. But don't worry about spending time on that. Just sort it some other time. Just get flying, do you know what I mean? You can always enable the in-game radio. I think we may hear you if you leave it on default.
I mean, it won't
Yeah, no worries. What time is it over there? That's not too bad. I got an early finish tonight anyway, so it won't keep you up. Server will still be on, you know, and just carry on if you want. There's a couple of Australians who used to come on till 4 in the morning. Right, so I'm just boiling the kettle again. I tell you what, when you get your camera set up, getting your camera set up. I can't hear them. What was that, Stu? No, there was Echo and who's the other one? There's another one as well used to come on, and I forgot his name. He came onto my Star Citizen stream the other week. So as I was saying, when you get your camera, I haven't got my. I can't remember his name. Can't remember him at all. There was if you put it on a controller and you set the controller properly, you can get some really, really good shots. I mean, I haven't got it on that at all. This is just bog standard stuff. But you can manipulate the camera however you want. And then if you're not aware of it, everything that you do now is all the data is recorded, so you can play back. The playback tool is okay, but it's not great. Yeah, there should be some CSAR on there. There's a few people shot down. Oh, sorry, SRS, is that what you said? Or did you say Caesar? Ah. Yeah, it's really weird. But don't worry, just, you know, you're only picking people up anyway, so just do what you want to do, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hands off my seesaw. But you can get some really good shots. The trouble is it's very linear. You can speed up the playback, and you can make it stop, and you can slow it down, and you can switch all the views, but you can't sit in somebody else's helicopter, which is a pain in the ass. So if you want to do a video with different perspectives, you've got to collect the file that it generates from all the different pilots. Then you've got to render all the footage from their point of view, and then you've got to edit it all in a video editor, which is a pain in the ass. And if anyone ever played Battlefield 2, that had something called Battle Recorder, and you could make amazing videos with that. It was really good. I'm sorry, mine blocks. I do apologise. I was making a cup of tea earlier, and when you chat, I see it, but it's over on another screen. The other people, when they chat, it reads it out to me, so I do apologise if you've come on and asked any questions. And there is also a minute sync as well, at least a minute sync. Right, so let me just jump out of this. I'll go and finish making my drink, and then I'll be back in a minute. Right. So, Huey, sorry about that. Just finished making my drink, selected Huey. I'm not going to be flying it and doing anything with it. I'll probably jump back into the Shark after and try and attack some of these things we've been attacking. And this is purely and simply so I can show. Oh, I see what's happening here, I think. Just, I'm an idiot. You know, sometimes you just think, you know what you're doing, and then you realise you have no idea. Right, okay, this is the Huey. It's a basic helicopter. It's very old, obviously. That doesn't mean say you can't do anything with it, because you can. It's just got two blades and a stabiliser and an anti-torque rotor, or tail rotor as it's called. It's a great helicopter, and if you want to fly helicopters, this is where you start, okay? And the reason for that, it's not automated in any way. Let me put the axis guide on for you. Okay, so you've got your cyclic, which is your joystick. You've got your collective, which you can see moving up and down there, and you've got your rudder and you've got your throttle. Throttle won't move at the moment, which is locked down there. If we look outside, this is your rudder, so it's changing the pitch on those blades and applying more rotation or less rotation. So its main purpose is to counter the torque or the rotation generated by the propellers, okay? But then you can use it to steer or add a bit more or take a bit off or whatever. You'll see that after. The collective changes the pitch on the blade. So if you look at the blades there, as I increase the collective, that blade tilts, and that's quite significant there. So when it tilts, it bites more into the air, so it's grabbing more air, and because it's grabbing more air, it generates, whether it's depending whether you're just sitting here going up, lift, or when you're moving forward, it'll generate lift and also your speed. And it's important to understand how that works, okay? If it's completely flat, it's just like a spinning disc. Without increasing it at all, you're not going anywhere. It's not biting into the air, it's just turning around in a plane. Think of a propeller on a ship, a boat or something. So they're all tilted, so the blades basically grab hold or bite into the water. You've got to remember that air and water are both fluids. The difference is the density, that's all there is between them, okay? Air is a very thin fluid, very, what's the word? Not so dense, that's the word. And water is a very dense fluid, okay? Excuse me. Startup is incredibly easy. Now there are lights, there are little flashy beacons and things that you can put on, but just for initially getting going, all you need to, excuse me again, all you need to do is switch on this panel here, and we go click once to AC phase, twice to essential buzz, click the main generator down and cover that. We click the battery on and we'll hear a siren. If we look down on the dash, there's a yellow surround. Just to the left of that is a little toggle called low RPM audio. When the RPM is low, it will put that siren on, and sometimes that can happen during flight for a variety of reasons. Sorry, I'm coughing there. Sometimes you can strain the engine and the RPM will get dropped. So you'll hear that siren say you need to do something. You switch it off by moving it back. As you start the helicopter up, that switch will automatically go on. So once we've done those switches up there, we're ready to switch on the fuel. Fuel is this yellow like matchstick appearance thing. This is like something you'd find at cocktail bars back in the day, or if you bought posh matches, sometimes people would have a little bar in the house, believe it or not. And you'd often find matches that look like that. So when I taught the other half, I just called it the matchstick, and she knew what I meant. To the right of that, we've got the governor, and by default the governor should be forward, so we want it forward on auto. And if we follow these alarm lights, we push hydraulics forward, force trim on, and the chip detector we move forward and then relax it. So what that does is that checks the oil in the rotor system for little pieces of metal, okay, fragments. Force trim is the trimming system, and I'll explain that after, and then obviously hydraulics. So now we're in a position nearly to start the helicopter. So to start the helicopter, we've got to increase the throttle. You can increase the throttle by using the mouse, by just placing it over there and rolling the mouse wheel. You can increase it by placing the mouse over it, pressing the left button and moving your mouse. You can assign it to an axis. So I've got it assigned to the left hand throttle, right, of my throttles. But when I move it, it won't move because it's got a little lock down here, and you have to press the button to release, or just move this a little bit. And once it's moved, now I can use my throttle, okay, when it's over that lock. There we go. Okay. The other alternative is to use page up, page down. So the page up, page down key will move the throttle up and down in stages, okay? You need to push it all the way up and then all the way back down, and it should sit on that line. Don't try and look at the line and work out where this needs to go. Just pull it all the way back down, and there's enough fuel to start the engine. When you start the engine, there's a button underneath here that you can't see, and I think it's the home key. So you press and hold it, and as you hold it, you watch the gas producer. And when the gas producer gets to 40, you let go. As you're doing that, you'll start to hear the engine starting up. The rotor will turn at about 12 on this dial or so, and you'll start to see the RPM here increasing. Okay, so I'm going to hold that starter button now. If it sits about here and doesn't increase anymore, then you've possibly not done the bit with the fuel. Okay, so it will sit there at about 10. So because it's going on, you might not hear the sound. You can see the shadow of the rotor to my right. There it is, and I'm going to let go now. We just wait, and there's the RPM, and that's increasing. The RPM will settle at 40. Now there's two needles there as shown by this gauge. One is rotor, one is engine. If you increase the throttle too much or you put any strain on it, you'll find that the rotor can snap off or shear from the, I don't know what the twiddly bit's called, the rotor mast. So when you increase this now, you must increase it nice and smoothly and try and keep these needles together. The engine will always accelerate as fast as you push the controller, but the rotor, which is now spinning round, has a weight on it and it can't keep up. Okay, so we're going to look here and we're going to start to smoothly increase the throttle. You'll hear the engine increase. You'll see the needles moving quite close together, and you just keep going all the way up. Now I was a bit confused after one of the patches. They changed some of the engine management, and if you keep going up, you'll see this drops back down again. Okay, and these needles, ideally green is good, red is bad. If we look down on here, we've got a couple of indicators telling us there's an issue. So one is inverter, one is IFF, and all you've got to do is switch IFF on, which is this radio system here and this knob, and then you go back up and you switch the inverter down, generator starter to standby, and that's nearly it. There's a master caution warning there, and that's because it's a latched light. So if ever this lights up with an alarm, this will come on and warn you, because that's where you're looking. You're not looking down there all the time. So you can reset that with this toggle here next to the alarms. Forward reset, back is test. Okay. And then one thing to do, we need to align the compass. So according to this, we're pointing one notch over 30. According to this, we're pointing north. So we use the synchronizing knob and we rotate this round until we start to point to exactly the same place. As we rotate it, you'll see this little window which displays a circle change to a cross. When you see a cross or a circle, that's not in the right place. So you look down here, you can see it's 1 notch away from 30 towards the west. That will be 1 notch away from 30 towards the west. If you look here now, we can see half a circle and half a cross, and that tells you you're in the right place. It is possible to get half a circle and half a cross 180 degrees away. So you'll see in a minute the cross will change back to a circle, and there we go, we've got a half circle and half a cross, right? The problem being is we're pointing in the opposite direction, and you can usually tell by looking at these numbers. So make sure these numbers match these. If we need to go in a particular direction, right, then we use this little set heading, and as I turn it, there's a little indicator going round on the dial, and you set that to the direction you want to go. So if it was at 3:30, it's over here. So I rotate the helicopter round until this little hat is sitting right here by this little pointer, and that's how you go in a particular direction. Gauges, like airplanes, you've got a cluster. This is your speed in knots, this is your altimeter, and this is all in feet, by the way. You've got your compass, you've got your slip and bank indicator, and you've also got your vertical speed indicator. Excuse me. This is important because when you're coming in to land, if this drops too far down and you've nearly stopped, you're going to sink to the floor. If you try and hover too high up and don't move, you're going to sink to the floor. So ideally when you come into land, you want it less than this number 5. Okay, so you don't have that sinking problem. As long as you're moving, it can be a lot lower. Just remember there's a floor there, and if you don't want to hit the floor, you need to pick your nose up. Emergency landing, sometimes you'll come in really fast, this will be dropping down here because you're sinking fast, but if you're moving, you're fine. To take off, right, because the helicopter by default, if I just pressed or pulled my collective up, it will go forward, twist and roll to the right, and you'll crash. So to stop that, we're going to move the rudder to the left about 30% of this line, and once we start to take off, we're going to move the cyclic back somewhere down here, and that is in the opposite direction of where the helicopter's trying to go. So if you do that, you'll be able to get control of the helicopter. Okay, I'll show you what I mean. So let me cough once, and then once I've done this initial bit, I'm going to drink this tea. Okay, so about 30%, and I'm going to start changing the pitch on my rotor, and you'll see my collective moving up there, and you'll see this moving up there, and I'm going to start to get light and probably start to turn. If I turn to the left, I'm going to add a bit more left. If I turn to the right, I'm going to add a bit more left. If I turn to the left, I'm just going to ease off a little bit. It is windy, we're on rough terrain, it's a little bit of a hill, and hills make a big difference. So let's slowly lift up, and then I'm going to pull this back, twist a little bit. See this hill, and I'm already shooting off down this hill, but I've got control of the helicopter. Okay, we're moving a little bit, but as I said, that's part of the terrain. This is not the best terrain to learn how to fly a Huey on. Okay, it's much better if you're on an airbase and you've got great big slabs with a lot of horizontal and vertical lines. Unlike the shark, right, the only way you can see which way this is going really is if you look out the window. If you're in cloud or over the sea, it can be a little bit disorienting. Now, can you see where my cyclic is, or the diamond on the scale? You can see where my collective is, it's not all the way up, and you can see where my pedals are. Now, that's only because of where we are. We're on a slope that's from in front of me and behind me. We're on a slope there. Now, a little bit earlier I mentioned about the fact, there's Mr. Cannon. One day, right, we'll have to have a flight together, because I have some ideas in my head. So I'm not sure if you do aerobatics already, but I'm sure with 4 Hueys we can do some quite amazing stuff. So basically, right, the air, when you start to fly, is pulled down, and when it's pulled down, it's going to hit the floor, bounce off the floor, and then sit underneath your helicopter and provide a cushion of air, and that's called ground effect. Whenever you're over anything solid, it doesn't matter whether it's a building, a floor, a ship or a mountain, that air will hit that object and bounce back up at you. If the surface is a slope, i.e. like a mountain or something, that air will try and push you back down. Okay, so it's really important to understand that if you try and climb up a mountain and you're quite low in ground effect, as you go up it pushes you down, therefore you're going to increase your collective, give it more power, that's going to generate more air, and it'll push you down even more, and you'll get to the point where you burn your helicopter out. Okay, now as you see, I'm moving along, but also pay attention to my stick. What's my stick doing? Right, I'm holding this as best as I can in a hover. I'm on a slope, right, but if I want to move, can you see now I'm moving forward? Did you see my stick move? I'm going to slow down, watch. Can you see my stick moving? Now I've stopped. I'm going to move to the right as long as no one's over there. Okay, whoops, let's move to the right a little bit. But can you see the movement on the stick? It's very, very small, and with helicopters the movement is more of a, think of it as a nudge. So if you got a ball on your desk and you wanted to roll it to the other side of the desk, that's easy, you'll give it a little push. If you wanted it to roll half an inch, or say 12.5, about 12.5 centimetres or millimetres even, how are you going to do that? What you got to do is nudge it. So you try and give it a little nudge with the back of your finger or something, or poke it with your finger until there's just enough energy in it to move it just a little bit. With a helicopter, right, when you are flying it, you are moving the stick and making tiny little nudges all of the time, and that way you'll get control over it. If you try and use it like a plane, okay, and you basically are just winging it left, right, pulling back and everything, you're going to run into problems. So one of the first things you need to do when you start flying this is learn how to control the helicopter and how to use this stick with lots of tiny little movements. Believe me, when you first jump into a Huey, right, it is not going to fly like this. You'll be able to get it in the air, you might spin around a bit, but you'll find yourself pushing the stick forward, then you panic because it's gone forward too much, so you pull it back, and then you panic a bit because it's coming back at you, and so on and so on. Okay, it takes practice. Some people pick it up really quick, and others will take a little bit longer. So if you find you're crashing it, right, don't worry about it, do it again and do it again. Now if I was on a decent surface, I could show you how to trim this for ground effect, which means make an adjustment so that it will literally be in a realistic hover over the ground. But because this terrain, as you can see, is undulating and very rough and ready, it's quite a difficult thing to do when you start. So what trimming does in terms of a helicopter, if you watch, I'm going to push my stick forward, right? If you look on the top left, you see the diamond go forward. Okay, now if I trim the helicopter, I'm going to press the trimmer switch and I'm going to carry on moving my real life joystick forward. Now I'm going to move my real life joystick all the way around my joystick, all the way around in the biggest circles I can do, and nothing's changing. And this is something you need to be aware of. And this is right because of DCS. Let me explain. When I release my stick or relax it, you'll see the stick do a little wiggle when it hits the center point. There it is. And now when I move my stick, you'll see the diamond moves again and the stick in the cockpit. So real life trimming, I believe it's friction based, might even be magnet based on some, but it's friction based, so that this stick to fly this helicopter in real life puts a lot of pressure on your arm. So if you try and fly for a distance holding this stick in a position, your arm will tire. So they have trimming, and the way this works is in real life, let me reset that, they move the stick to where they need when they're in the air, and they're at the what's the word, not the angle, forgot the word, they basically I forgot the word, it's a setting on the Apache, but basically it's when your nose is down a little bit and you're moving forward, attitude. When you're at the correct attitude, not altitude, then you would trim, and then the helicopter in real life you could let go of the stick stays there, I mean yeah, in real life helicopter, and it carries on until you grab the stick and do something with it and then release it. In game, if I trim it, right, my real life joystick pings back to the middle. Okay, and that is no good. So they've had to come for a compromise. So the compromise is, and this is the center stick trimming position, should be the default, and I find it by far the best. I'll explain why in a minute. So you move your stick to position, you trim it, and as soon as you trim it, if you relax your grip on your real life stick, it will return to the middle. You'll see this one do the wiggle, and your trim stays where it is. Now this represents your new center. So instead of the stick working like it's in the middle of the joystick range, it works as if it's slightly forward. So when I move forward now, you'll see it's moving from where it's trimmed. If I move back, it goes back to where I've trimmed, and that's the compromise. The other stick method, or one of them, is instant. And when you do instant, and I think that doesn't work as good, is as soon as you hit the trimmer button, it's instantly there and it resets the position of your stick. Here's Scott's Viking. Thank you for the follow there. So the problem is with that is that if you are not quick enough, it will double where your stick is. So for instance, thank you for the follow there, Blue Streak, or Blue Streaker. I wonder if you lot are turning up because you get freebies if someone's mentioned it already next week or 30th or whenever it is. Anyway, so if you use the instant, as soon as you press the button, it's not only going to trim that, but it's going to assume your stick's back at the centre. You're going to be holding your stick in that position, and it's going to end up doubling that position to here, and you're going to find yourself crashing really easy. So once you get used to this centre stick position and relaxing your grip on the stick, right, then you'll find it works far better, unless you've got a force feedback stick, in which case there is, I believe, a force feedback setting for it. In a real life force feedback stick, the stick will stay where you put it, which is how a helicopter works. Has anybody got any questions while I drink my cup of tea? Sorry for the slurpy noises.
As Scott's Viking said, don't have a
Okay.
freebies just here to learn as well.
That's fine.
Game, ha, ha.
That's fine. I don't give away freebies very often, but on the 30th I will. And it won't be like at the end of the stream, it'll be sometime during, and all you got to do is guess the biscuit. That's it, guess the biscuit I'm eating. And you could win, I don't know, a helicopter. And if you've already got it, and you've got a friend who you want to have that helicopter, you give me their details and I will send it to them instead. Yeah? I can't get fairer than that, and it'll only exist on stream when I do it, so it's not advertised.
Nice.
But yeah, you're more than welcome. So it's just like some payback for the viewers. There's never many viewers on, so the chances of you winning something are really good, but it's not for drawing viewers in. I was just surprised when I suddenly get 2 people just jumping straight in.
Said, can we exchange the aircraft for the biscuit?
If you want to pop over, Mr. Sham, you're more than welcome to pop in for a biscuit. In fact, it's getting to that time where you should be popping over for a weekend anyway, shouldn't you? I will be judged on the biscuit choice. I'm a bit of a cunning arse as well. So I've already told people who were here earlier that I'll go shopping at Morrison's, the Co-op and Waitrose. So there's your biscuit choice. So if you were smart, what you would do is go and make a list of biscuits, extract all the ones that are common between all 3 shops, right? And then you'd have a list of biscuits to work with. And then while you're working through those,
That's just all possible biscuits, sir.
I don't think it is, but the funny thing is, I might tell you at the beginning it's a cheese biscuit. But it depends how evil I am, do you know what I mean? Usually it's guessed. The biscuit is always guessed.
Lisa into telling us.
No, you mean AI Lisa? No, she won't tell you. I'm just finishing this cup of tea. Has anyone got any questions on what I've... What, you mean bribing you?
Asking me, yeah.
Oh, that happens. And there was one instance where... Who was it? Horny asked her what the biscuit was.
Yeah.
Right?
Privately.
Yeah. And she told him. But he wasn't doing it to win a helicopter. He was doing it to get really close, but it wasn't close enough. So he would never have won the biscuit, right? He was just winding me up, the little shit. Excuse the language. But as it's my birthday in a week or so, then on the 30th, on the Saturday, it's unfair to do it on the day because most of you will be at work. I'll do a giveaway, and as I said, it's quite fair. I'll give it to you, to your friend, to a mate you want to get into the game, whatever. And depending on the helicopter, I might even teach you how to fly it, as long as we do it on stream. Right, I'm just finishing my tea. I don't want it to get cold. How are you, Sham? We'll have to arrange you coming over as well. You haven't been over for a while, have you? Jaffa cake is an option, although technically it's classed as a cake, or legally it's classed as a cake. Yeah, will do, matey. We've got a week off soon, but you know, it could be a weekend, could be any time. Lisa works every other week. It's a pain in the ass. Right. Was it raining? Okay, right, so a couple of things as well. There is an altitude, right? Is it an radar altimeter? That's the one, there it is. So it looks like a big switch. Well, it is a big switch compared to this lot, look. So you just pop that, and I never use it unless I'm slinging, right? Because it doesn't interest me in terms of, well, I know I can see out the window. When you turn the low setting, it will switch this device on, you'll see. And you'll see the 0 appear. And you might think, what does this do? Well, it tells you whether you're below your L setting or above your high setting. And it does low or high. And that's all it does. And it's like, really? Is that all it does? So I never use it. This bit, however, will measure your height in feet from the ground, which is important when you're coming to drop a sling load. So you'll see it change in a minute. Now, as far as startup goes, I mean taking off exactly the same as before, about 30%. Get ready to catch the helicopter. Right? And you'll see the radar altimeter increasing. And that will obviously vary. Now, something else I mentioned, I got my head tracking paused. When you're going to stop and your terrain is such that you're on a hill, always stop with your nose up the hill. So if we go and park just on this bit, let's go and use that hill over there. So I need to slow down enough so I can stop. And that looks quite steep. I might have a problem doing it here, but we'll see. Sometimes you find the terrain you've got to go to is really high. So what you want to make sure you do is you point your nose up the hill, and if I do it right, we should be able to just settle down, park on the hill. If I do it wrong, I'm going to lose my helicopter, right? So I need to move over to the left a bit, because if you notice there's a bit of a sideways as well, and if you park sideways you are definitely going to roll down the hill sideways and your blades will touch the floor. So I've slowed down a little bit, I've got into ground effect, I'm coming up here, and then when I park, watch what happens to the indicators, or when I stop, when I land on the left. So I'm getting ready to drop them down. Okay. And I'm going to push that forward, and I'm going to trim it and let go. Can you see where my stick is now? And you might think, well, why have you done that? Right, you can see my helicopter is pointing up a hill. Look at my blades. Where are my blades? They're horizontal, or as best they're a little bit over. Right, I'm comparing them to the horizon there. But what I've tried to do is counter the slope of the hill. Okay? Because if I don't, what will happen is the blades will point in the other direction, which is parallel to the helicopter, and the helicopter will tilt back, and that tail rotor will be damaged, and therefore the helicopter's knackered. Okay? So something to be aware of. The other thing is, when I go to take off, if I don't correct that really quick, my helicopter's going to stick its nose down and try and bury itself over here somewhere into the hill. Another way I could do it is pull the stick back or reset that trim as I take off and turn to the right, and I'll be going off over that direction. But just bear that in mind. This particular map, as you can see, is quite undulating, right? And there's not many flat spots. The preference would be to land somewhere flat, but if you can't, always land with it up a hill. We got mountains here, I can't remember. Oh yeah, they're too far away though. There's nothing around here. I might go down there by that cliff and we'll have a look at what I'm on about. Okay, so let's try and take off now on the hill. Get ready to correct it as soon as I'm in the air. Corrected. Okay, and I'm off. Let's go down here, and I'm looking for that cliffy thing. Where is it? I saw it by the coast. Does anyone remember that little hill thing that I just saw? Looked like it was right round here to the coast, or is it down there? Could be down there. Let's have a look. Climbing too high now. I forgot about resetting that completely. So what I'm looking for... Oh, this might actually work, because this is a bit of a hill. Let me show you what happens with mountains. This is relatively shallow. So if I'm trying to get up a mountain, and there's a chance my helicopter is going to burst into flames, but if I'm trying to get up a mountain and I'm in ground effect, remember the cushion of air that sits under your helicopter. So I'm going to lower myself down. Then I'm going to get close to the floor. Now, ground effect only works at about 1 times the diameter height of the rotor. So this isn't sort of so much of a mountain as a bit of an easy slope. And I'm just slowing down, I'm just dropping a lot of height, and I'm just slowing down as well. Now as we get closer, can you see that needle I told you about coming down like a brick? If I'm not careful, I'll lose the helicopter, so I've got to keep an eye on that. Try and keep moving a little bit, and that way it's a lot easier to come down. I'm going to move over here and do a turn, and that's going to help me. See the way I'm coming close to the floor? Whenever you want to come in and land, by the way, just think of trying to get down into ground effect, and then when you're into ground effect, you can just land out where you want. If you try and land on a dead spot like you see in films and things sometimes, chances are you're going to get a VRS. Right, so if I wanted to hover on this hill, right, see where the diamond is on the axis for me to hover. Pull back just a bit more. Right. So that hill is actually pushing me down, not as much as a mountain. Let's get a little bit lower. So if you climb up a mountain or a really steep hill by doing this, you'll find yourself slowing down. This doesn't seem to be steep enough. Hopefully the next bit is. You'll find yourself getting slower and slower and slower, and you end up having to push your nose, right, you end up having to push your cyclic higher and higher to keep this thing level. And the more you push your cyclic up, the more the helicopter slides back down the hill. If I try and hover here, let me just trim it a little bit. And no, I went up a hill and come down in an ambulance. No, it's not steep enough. But that, literally, you'll see me go backwards soon. And it's the hill pushing me back. It's the ground effect on the hill. So I've now got to overcome that. Okay, so I'm going to push my stick forward. And if it's really steep, I'll be increasing my collective even more. And it's going to keep pushing you down. And the more you increase your collective, the more you go down. If you watch these dials here, if they go into the red, one of them only needs to go into the red for a few seconds. You'll burn your helicopter out. And you can see they're not too far off, especially that middle one. Can you see? If you go up a mountain, that's going to be even worse. So if you want to go up a mountain, the golden rule is get to the height of the place you want to get to first, and then go to your mountain. So whilst this is too far out for the mountains that we can see in the background somewhere, I know there's some over there. There they are. If I was on the beach at the base of one of those mountains, there's no way I could fly up it. So I'd fly away from it, increase my height, and if I wanted to land on the top of it, I would get to the height of the top of the mountain and then fly towards the mountain and land on it. Hey Cheney, how the devil are you? Nice to see you again. On Caucasus, which is your default map, there are mountains on there. I'm trying to think where they are. I can't think. That very often you'll get stuck flying in the valleys and then you can't get out very well at all. But if you try and fly like I've just explained, you'll find your helicopter will burst into flames. I've only got about 20 minutes now, if that, because I am going to have to finish early. I've got to take the other half to work. I'm not going to leave my computer on, so I won't be jumping on when I come back. I should be streaming Star Citizen tomorrow. Unfortunately, I think the upgrades come out, so any of the mining I did, that will be by the way now. If you're coming into land, remember what I said about this number here, that needle. You can see my speed is quite slow, so I could try and hover here, right, and level this thing up. And there might be a point, and it's just dropped. Look, see, I'm not doing that. It's dropping out the sky. Right, I'm pulling my blades flat. I drop my collective, and then I increase the collective. And I was hovering way too high, right? I wasn't moving forward. It looked like I was going to hover, and then it just dropped. You saw the alarms coming on. And this is where what you would naturally do is get your collective and push it up higher to give you more lift. It doesn't do that. It makes it worse. So the opposite, which is basically to flatten your blades, as you saw, right? I flattened the blades, pushed the stick, that moved me out the turbulent air, and then I increased. But the trick is not to panic, and believe me, you are gonna do it a lot. But if you learn how to fly this helicopter, right, remember, as I said earlier, it's you flying it, not any systems. Once you learn how to fly it and maneuver it and make it do what you want, when you start trying to move up the helicopters, you'll have a hell of a lot of knowledge on how to do these things. And don't worry about, crashing. It's that easy to start up. Find yourself little spaces. Find out where your blades are, right? find out how big your chopper is and where it will squeeze into, like into this little gap here for instance, without hitting the trees, and just practice. Buildings are brilliant, hangars are excellent at some bases. We should be able to go for a fly around the town. There's gunners you can have. Some of the missions you'll find there's little men with or man pads sitting on the roofs. So what I used to do is we'd get somebody in there. Remember, you can have your mates in the chopper with you, up to 3, and it's really damn solid for multiplayer. You know, all in the same module, and you'd fly amongst the buildings with your side gunners taking down these man pads. The buildings aren't going to move, the trees aren't going to move, they're all collisionable. So if you cock it up, you cock it up. Oh look, there's some more Caesar. There's plenty of work for you, Mr. Camel.
Yeah, that's good.
I've only got a few minutes left. As I said, I'll have to finish early today because I've got to take the other half. Next week will be longer. Right. So again, if you make yourself fly into some of these places, right, you'll find your level of control really increases. Now, as I've said that, right, I'll probably end up gobbing it. But you've got yourself a load of cover. Should you have any people with AKs over there, you've got lampposts and things. That's going to make it difficult. Should you want to land over here, you haven't got much room to drift. If you do need to land over here, make sure you know of a way out. There's nothing worse than trying to take off and there's nowhere to move. As soon as you're moving, you're going to get lift. But you should be able to go through gaps, he says, looking at that building on the right, thinking, I hope that's not too close. I'm going to lift up a little bit here. Right? I would fly round, as I said, and I wouldn't quite go this way. I'd turn so that my gunners, which are here, or sitting back there and over there, would have a good sight of the targets. There's also aerials and things, as you can see, satellites on roofs. But sweeping through little villages and buildings, especially in Syria, is brilliant. And if you've got gunners with you. And as I said, if you're going to land, find a way out, because as soon as you lift the helicopter up, you want to get sort of moving, because then you're going to end up getting more lift. That's going to help you get up in the air, and you're only going to get the lift by moving. You're limited on your collective. So if we were going to say land here, this is going to be difficult. I'll probably gob it, so I'm caveating that now. There's a lamppost just over here, there's a red car, there's another post there. Let's see if I can land here and see if I can actually put it down without hitting anything. It's a tight space, but it's ideal for, like, you know, you can come and drop down if you've got troops to pick up. There's a car there, I don't want to land on the car. Right, so let's just pop it down here. And there's a lot of adjustment going on if you look at the little red things, but now I've got to get out. So the thought is, where am I going to get out from? And ideally you want to do it before you land, because if I try and pull that way, I can do it, but I've got to watch that lamppost. I've got a building just round behind me. Where am I? Okay. But this is what you want to do. Test yourself. Try it out. So it might be that going up a little bit and doing alright. Yeah, no worries, matey. I think they've updated it. Right, so what I think, the lowest obstacles are these on my right. So I've got about to take off really, really carefully, hang a right, and probably go off in that direction, which should give me enough distance then to clear those trees over there. Is it going to work? I don't know. But it's fun trying, isn't it? So that's where I want to go. Right, let's have a look. So it's still trimmed. I'm going to get rid of that. We know the helicopter is going to try and go forward, so I need to go up, turn right, clear the buildings there, clear the lampposts, go in this direction, push my nose down. That'll give me a little bit more lift, and then we're off, and then we're out. Okay. Yeah, it worked. Would I have guaranteed that working? No, and I know Sod's Law says if I would have says it will work, I probably wouldn't have made it work. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I've finished my tea, yeah? Has anyone got any questions on the QE? But trust me, learn this, right, and it will help you with every other helicopter you're going to fly. And if you've skipped it because it's a Huey, I would advise you to go and get it. In a sale it's about $25, which is peanuts, and it's probably one of the most fun helicopter modules you can get, especially when there's a few of you in there. It's more fun when the people who are on the door gunners are in VR, because I know somebody, I'm not going to mention his name, Dr. Shambles, who was, oh, we're going to hit this, we're going to... No, we're not. Do you know what I mean? Because from their perspective, in VR, it's completely different. Right, any questions? I can't show you how to do hovering and ground effect because the land's too up and down. But yeah, if you get this sort of stuff, bear in mind, I've been flying this since it come out. Okay, so you're not instantly going to be able to just jump in and make it work the same. In fact, there's some video, I don't know when it's from, Sham, of me, you and Stingy flying these. Do you remember trying to hoist? If you're on full fuel, when I was having a look before, assuming that there's 32 packets a box, it could take 120 boxes. So that's quite a few, really. Assuming they're the standard custard cream that you'll get from all three shops you mentioned. Somebody at work the other day, can you believe this? In fact, I'm not going to use this biscuit. I'll tell you what it is. Yes, matey? Pardon?
You can see where I'm on the map, right?
Let me just check. Yes, matey.
Is it not the safe zone? The search and rescue?
Let's have a look. There is a hospital place. Let me just come down. I've not actually picked anyone up, but let me have a look. Hang on.
If you land as close as you can to that anyone,
I think you're the wrong side. I think the ones with the, if you look, let's see which way. Okay, go diagonally left, very slightly. Probably your 11 o'clock. Can you see these buildings just in front? There's a little tent with crosses on it. So I would have gone in the other side of these buildings and landed on the path. So yeah, if you go towards these buildings at your 11... Oh, is that me or you there? Okay. Can you see where I mean? Have you still got a stream on or not? Yeah, so you can see this little tent. Oops. Tent there. So I would have gone, say, the other side on that path and just parked over here somewhere maybe. It's just basically over closer to that building, I think it is. I've never dropped anyone off. Stuart has, he knows better, but that's what it looks like here.
Oh, looks so different.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think Stu's marked it, or have you marked it?
Are you using a different version of the map, or...?
oh, that's probably the satellite picture. So you've got map, alt and sat options
Yeah,
in F10.
I'm using the set, It doesn't look.
I'm on Alt. I'm on Alt, and then I was zooming in as well, and then switching my view to free cam for you. So basically, where you are, I think Stu's marked it, or it's already marked. What you're looking for is where's the angle there? 214 degrees for 0.1 of a mile. It is a bit airy-fairy, but once you get closer to them, you'll be fine. Sorry, Sham. I'm just going to jump out now, matey, in a minute. But yeah, it does make you get within 100 metres of any type of building that it's going to be using.
Okay. Thank you. I wasn't too sure where the actual drop-off point was, but that makes sense.
Yeah, it's always a bit, you know, when you first get on this map. Anyway, it's nice to see you on. I'm going to have to jump off, as I said. I've probably done what I need to do, and there's no point flying anymore because I know Lisa's going to make me take it to work, although I did volunteer. I'll be Star Citizen in tomorrow. Did you say you've put your shorts up on your stream, on your channel?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'll have to send them to...
All right. It'll be good to see. Just send me a link. You can send it via here, or my email's mail1234@outlook.com. So send it there as well.
Because it's...
Big. All right. You can send us a link off to Google Drive or whatever you want.
Yeah.
All right, matey. Right, see you everybody. I'll catch some of you maybe later, some tomorrow. And don't forget, alright, the 30th is my competition for biscuits.
Oh, what biscuits can we win?
What would you like? Oh, I know what I was going to say now, Rich T. Somebody mentioned arrowroot biscuits.
Well, I've never tried them.
And an arrowroot biscuit is something that your grandmother would always have. And he said he hasn't seen them for years, and neither had I, and my grandmother knew about them. And I found some in Waitrose, just these packets of arrowroot biscuits, so I took him a packet. And I said, we wondered why, and when you look up all the things and benefits that arrowroot is supposed to do for you, that's why they used to keep them in. You don't realise, do you know what I mean? These really old wives things.
Yeah, powdered arrowroot, something that like all the oldies in my family all just like powdered arrowroot.
Yeah. You should be close enough now, matey. You should be able to do it from this side, I reckon. Give it a try, and if not, just get a bit closer. There's plenty of room for you to park in between the tents. You'll be able to show me how to hover. Just 1 minute. Sorry, what was that? I'm just parked on a hill, which is where you're looking. He's parked behind the buildings, coming in a bit. He's just going to park in there now, because when I said to him, oh, there's room for you to park, I knew he was grinning and he's thinking, yeah, I'll show you how to park. I'll show you how to hover over there. Oh, bit of lag there, wasn't there? Yeah, I saw you suddenly shoot off then. So just for the record, this guy is a pilot. So that's why he always comes on and then asks me to teach him how to hover. 'Cause he's a crop sprayer amongst other things, but he's a pilot. So I would expect him to be able to land in there. Keep his tail out. It's just enough space. And because I've said it now, he's going to have to do it. Stu, can you get ready to pick him up and take him to hospital in a minute? So he's having a little bit of a lag when he went in before, because he's in NZ. But trust me, the Huey is such good fun. It really is. And it's also a challenge. There he goes. Just about to drop his people off. Bear in mind all these different surfaces you've got. So when you're down in ground effect, you'll have wind bouncing off everything. Did that work? Because I thought you were going to park the other side of the tent in that little compound. No. I think there's enough room. But I was just thinking that you were going to kill your patients and yourself and then Stu will come and pick you up, that's all. I wasn't casting aspersions. Alright, darling. Right. Just over the other side, so in that green field area, and again, if you drop over the other side of where you are, where somebody else is, you should be able to refuel, rearm, and do that. And there's logistics, so it's all in that area. I think it might be on the briefing. Yeah, I think where Stu is, if it is Stu.
You come over to the right here now. It's like you can see there's fuel barrels over there.
Right, everybody, I am going to have to stop. Let me wind the streams down on that, and I'll be back in 2 ticks. Hang on. Right, I'm going to have to finish the stream here. Thank you very much for watching. If you keep your the freebie on the 30th to yourselves, it's going to give you a better chance of winning something, is it not? Look at that, 48 viewers. It's pitiful, isn't it? Who's on Skelly Jelly Man? What's he flying? I'm just having a little look. Oh, there's a... Let's have a look. Not sure who Skelly Jelly is. What I'll do is I'll pass you over to him anyway. Give him some support, as always. And so stream him. He's only got a few viewers. Give him some support. And thank you very much those on YouTube. And I'll be winding that one up now. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you again next week. Okay, cheers all. Thank you everybody.